Hi, my name's Tim Johnson. This is a follow-up to the video I made called Happy, Healthy and Strong, which I'll link at the end of this video. And it's about anxiety. Anxiety is so prevalent in today's modern society. It affects so many people, so many ways. It is an extremely debilitating condition. Something that I've suffered from for many years at various periods of my life, particularly when I was in addiction. But even out of addiction, it was something that I suffered from, culminating in me being taken off an aeroplane at Manchester Airport, suffering from what I thought was a heart attack, which was actually a panic attack. Extremely frightening and extremely debilitating. I'm sure you all know the symptoms, that familiar horrible, sicky, fluttering feeling in your stomach, the dry mouth, the heartbeat beating too fast, the breath changing, a fearful feeling, a feeling that is so uncomfortable you're crawling out of your own skin. It really does debilitate you. There's no doubt about it. It's a horrible feeling, anxiety. And so many people suffer from it these days. Basically, when we activate anxiety within our body, we're activating ancient systems in the base of our brain, our primordial brain, which was something I talked about in the last video, harping back to ancient man. But we're activating, in effect, the fight-flight reflex in our primitive brains. And this has a massive effect on our body. It releases adrenaline, norepinephrine, it releases cortisol, and this all stores up inside us and has many changes, preparing us to fight for our lives or run for our lives, as it did ancient man all those many thousands of years ago. The problem is, obviously, in today's society, we're not running away from wild animals or, fleeing for our lives. We're storing it all up inside of us. It's a gradual process. And it's affecting our health so much. It can cause so many illnesses, heart disease, high blood pressure, circulatory disease, strokes. The list is endless. Some cancers are caused by stress and anxiety. There's no doubt about it. It just knocks you off your feet and it can really play havoc with your life. But we're activating these ancient systems and we have no way of getting rid of that stuff within our system, that adrenaline and that cortisol, which is stored up and causes all these changes to our body. So I looked at this quite carefully, and over the sort of past 3 years, I found the way that works for me to deal with it. It's not going to totally get rid of all your anxiety. So much anxiety is fear-based. This is the problem. Anxiety is based in unsubstantiated fears most of the time. It's when we project our minds into the future, when we worry about things that haven't happened yet or things we can't control. We hark back to the past, or we look back to the future. We look back at some things that have happened and how they've turned out, and then project into the future, and always looking at the worst scenarios, which sets off these systems within our bodies, this fear-based anxiety. And of course, diet and caffeine and all these things have an effect on anxiety. There's no doubt about that. They exacerbate it. So you need to, that's something that needs to be looked at, diet, which is another video I'm going to come on to. But at the moment, how to deal with anxiety when you get it, how to ease it immediately. The fear-based anxiety, those unsubstantiated fears when you're projecting your mind and you're not in the present moment. Well, if you hark back, like I say, to ancient man, he burnt it off by running and extreme activity, fighting for life. There's nothing more extreme than that. But in the busy lives, we can't always get down to the gym and burn it all off, immediately as we get these feelings. So we have to sort of improvise, and we have to find a way to ease those feelings immediately, over a period of time. The finest way I've found to ease the feelings of anxiety is to compromise movement, walking in the fresh air, is the first, but not just ordinary walking. It's conscious walking. So many of us don't walk properly, and it's the finest exercise that we can possibly do for our minds and bodies. Calms us immediately and starts burning off all that unwanted adrenaline and cortisol. But if you're consciously walking and breathing as you walk, and consciously breathing, gauging your core, standing straight up as you walk, holding your head back and your shoulders back, feeling your feet touch the ground, feeling the air hitting your face and body as you walk, and then taking slow conscious breaths in and out as you're walking. If you're in an office and you're feeling anxious, you can get up and walk around and do this sort of exercise as you're walking around the office. If you're at home, if you can't get out, if you've got young children you're dealing with, whatever, you can be doing it around your home. Conscious breathing and conscious walking, holding your frame straight, being conscious of the way you're moving. And automatically that starts burning up this cortisol and adrenaline, but also it gets rid of that. It snaps you back into the present moments and starts waylaying those fears. Another great method is to write down that list of fears that you have, that list of worries that's going through your mind, that's buzzing through your mind. Write them all down, and on the other side of the sheet, tick if you can control them or you can't control them. If you can't control that thing you're worrying about or that fear, cross it off the list, because it's not worth worrying about, is it? If you can't control it, you need to let it go and let nature take its course, and let, go with the flow, and just go with what happens. And that you'll find that will lift so much weight off you if you can do that. It takes practice, but writing it down. And when you look at a problem and perhaps you think you can sort it or control it, it focuses your mind on what you need to do to sort that problem out. So that's another way. Another way is to look back at that video, the 40-second mind hack that I did. And if you're moving around and you're doing the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 with both hands, again, it snaps you back into that present moment. There's no doubt about it, anxiety is debilitating. It affects twice as many ladies as it does men. And it's generally caused by pain and trauma in the past, either physical, mental, sexual, emotional trauma back into your past again that you perhaps haven't dealt with. And that's something, to deal with this issue. If these things don't snap you out of it, then you're going to need to perhaps see a psychotherapist or a counsellor or someone along that sort of line who you can talk about those issues from your past, which are causing these fears and anxieties that you perhaps haven't dealt with before, because that's where a lot of anxiety is based, in the past, or from trauma in your present, or from addiction, or all this stuff that you're perhaps not dealing with. But bear in mind those ways of dealing with it: the walking, the conscious breathing, in through your nose and out through your mouth slowly as you're walking. The 40-second mind hack, which is another one of my videos, which you perhaps need to look back on. The answers all lie with all these things from where we evolved from. And this next set of videos and the last one are all about that. All about the fact that we've disconnected from where we've evolved from, which are causing a lot of these modern day issues. That we can perhaps help by using some of them techniques or some of that, stuff from when we evolved, and reconnecting with what we really should be, the real human beings that we should be, and not what we've done to disconnect ourselves and make us sick. So thank you for listening. Carpe Diem, seize the day today. I hope this has helped you. Much love to everyone out there. Please watch the next video. Please subscribe, please like, please share if they help you in any way or you think they'll help anyone else. Much love. Thanks.